flying Phantoms. Now a captain on the Airbus A20 with British Airways. On his right is Steve Bohill-Smith, a former Concorde pilot, and a man who once had what must be a Spitfire, a pilot's best day out ever, flying a Spitfire Mark 9 in the morning, and then piloting Concorde to New York that very same evening. On the left is Mike Vasey, who set up Vintech, which is an engineering company that looks after these vintage aircraft engines. Leading the second Vic is Nigel Lemon, who runs a air ambulance service. And those who are aircraft spotters, take note of what he is flying. It's a very rare aircraft. It's the DH-60 Moth Major. Now they only made 135 of them, of which only 10 still survive, of which only 5 are in flying condition. And you can see that it's got straight wings as opposed to the swept wings of the Tiger Moth. On his right is Dr. Jeremy Radcliffe, who, as the name suggests, is a doctor, but he's also a consultant anaesthetist and is a space doctor. So if you want to be an astronaut, he's the man to see. And on the left there is Adam Clark, who is a fireman in his day job, flying the distinctive yellow aircraft. But in his weekends, he's a flight lieutenant in the Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve. I've paused there to let you listen to the glorious sound of the 9 de Havilland Gypsy Major engines, each 130 horsepower, collectively about the same power as a Mark I Spitfire. But I'll tell you that the last Vic are made up entirely of former fighter pilots, led by Robin Russell, who used to fly Phantoms, and indeed then Strike Masters with the Sultan of Oman's Air Force. On his right is David Wildridge, who used to fly Phantoms and then Tornadoes, and a 23,000-hour pilot with 3,500 hours on fast jets, and a very keen polo player, but has also been a member of the World Championship leading elephant polo team. And the final man on the left is David Sister, again a former fighter pilot, flying Hunters, Lightnings and Phantoms. And he has an amazing record that back in 1978, he went exactly to the day, or 50 years to the day, following in the steps of Bert Hinkler, who was the first man to fly solo to Australia. And David's sister did this in a de Havilland. And they're into shape now. This is very good conditions today, so they should be able to do a really good formation. Again, I'll let you sample the sound of those engines. They make it look so easy, but this is actually very difficult to fly that accurately. And this was the virtue of the Tiger Moth. It's an easy aeroplane to fly, and a very difficult aeroplane to fly well. And you'll see it being flown very well today. And you can see there the difference between the civilian DH-60 Moth being flown by Nigel Lemon, and all the other Tiger Moths where the wings have been swept back. And this is for the RAF's specification, where they needed to have the instructor, who would be sitting in the front seat, to be able to parachute free. And in order to clear that space, they needed to move. Now, they would have been all the same colours in their day, because this was a military trainer. And pre-war, they'd be entirely yellow, as is Adam Clark's aircraft. His, in fact, in Biggin Hill Station colours. As soon as war broke out, they went and painted camouflage on the upper surfaces of the fuselage and the wings. But after the war, they were sold off to civilian flying clubs and to private individuals, and they were then painted in many of the jolly colours you see today. Coming from right to left, in Feathered Arrow. Again, worth a photo. There's a remarkable survival record for these aircraft. They built 8,600, of which 1,000 are still in existence worldwide, of which around 650 are currently in airworthy condition. That's a remarkable survival record for something which is 70 to 80 years old. Another interesting point is that of those 8,000, put in a new extra formation for you for this display, which is another real cloud pleaser. Because the conditions are benign today, we've got to put in a Big Vic. So please look at the Big Vic first, coming from right to left. This is something which doesn't work well in blustery conditions, so you're blessed with having the fine conditions we have today. This is like the Vic formation we saw earlier, but this time involving the whole team. And in fact, 2 weeks ago, the whole team went down to RAF Henlow, where they were joined by another 7 aircraft to do an amazing 16 aircraft formation, where, as a tribute to the Royal Air Force, they did a 100 shape. So 4 aircraft making a 1, 6 making a 0, and the final 6 making a further 0. And you can see the video of this on YouTube, and you'll be seeing in your various flying magazines photos of it within the next month or so. Coming from your right to left, in Big Vic. The Tiger Line is an amateur team, albeit 2/3 of them have RAF connections, but I think you'll agree that they fly to a truly professional standard. And this is the display team of the de Havilland Moth Club, which is the club dedicated to the preservation and flying of these beautiful, much-loved machines. And the team is lucky to be sponsored by Poolies, the air equipment suppliers, this year. That is superb flying. That'll make a great photo. And incidentally, if any of you fancy the idea of a flight in a Tiger Moth today, if you take yourself down to Classic Wings, which is situated opposite the American hangar, you can go for a flight in a Tiger Moth today. Now here the synchro pair drop. This is what we were waiting for. The 2 former fighter pilots dropping away. Keep your eyes on them. As I say, the 2 men more used to flying supersonic. They're going to charge towards you and perform the opposition brake. And you'll need to be quick with a camera shutter to capture this. Heading towards you now. Tension building. And there they go. Now they'll turn, face one another, and then charge at each other like a pair of jousting knights. Knights in shining Tiger Moths. And they'll get close. Again, you'll have to be quick with the camera to capture this. Now cast your eyes up to the main pack who are diving towards you. building speed up, somewhere around 110, 120 miles an hour. Getting ready for the bomb burst. Get your cameras and braking! Here they go. Robin Russell bringing up the rear, doing a half Cuban. And now the team will form into two lines and will perform the opposition multicross, which is like the opposition pass you saw a moment ago from the synchro pair, but this time from the whole team. So you've got not just one aircraft to miss, you've got between 4 and 5. This is an easier one to photograph. You can either pick one aircraft and try and snap it as it passes the others, or just hold your camera in the middle and snap as you get to crossing before you. Again, they get pretty close. Now the teams will form themselves into one long big line for a big fly past. Now, if you've enjoyed this display, please give them a wave. And this goes for any of the displays here today, because the pilots will never ever be able to hear you clapping, but they can all see you waving. And seeing a sea of waving hands will fill them with joy. And if they see you, they will wave back. You'll join us here at the Duxford handicap chase as the runners and riders come into view. And they're into the final furlong. In the lead is Easy Tiger. Easy Tiger, 2-to-1 favourite, ridden by Adam Clark. Followed by the Haviland Boy, 7-to-2, ridden by Mike Vasey. Next up, it's I'm the Leader, 6-to-1, ridden by Jeff Milson. Then we have Tiger Tops, 18-to-1 outsider, ridden by David Waldridge. Then it's Mothmania at 15-to-1, ridden by Robin Russell. Next it's Doctor's Orders, ridden by Jeremy Ratcliffe at 4-to-1. Then we have Golden Oldie at 7-to-2, ridden by Steve Bohill-Smith. Then it's Tiger Rag at 14-to-1, ridden by Nigel Lemon. And bringing up the rear, I can see it's Tiger Feet, 20-to-1 outsider, ridden by David Sister. Now the team will go and put itself ready.